Alright, we're going to do a couple of, or one piecewise function and one absolute value graph, just to kind of do a few examples of these. Right, we're going to do f of x equals 1 minus x when x is greater than 2 and x plus 2 when x is less than or equal to 2. So, alright, so there we got a graph now. So when I graph this 1 minus x when x is greater than 2, we normally would call this negative x plus 1. So there's 1, and I go down 1 over 1, and I'm making a dotted line because I'm not going to want all of this stuff. What I am going to want, and I will do what I want in the color red, is only the stuff that is greater than or equal to 2. Well, since here is 2, I'm going to put an open circle because it's not equal to 2, and get my line going in the right direction. And there's, in red, what I really want from the first part of my graph. Now in the second part of my graph, we got x plus 2, so I go up 2, up 1 over 1, and there I have a dotted line. But I only want the stuff that is less than or equal to 2, so once again I'm going to put my actual answer in red. Well, here's 2 at 2, 4, and the x's that are less than is off to the left, and so there's my graph. You see this right here? There's a jump in the graph, and that's part of being a piecewise function like this. Sometimes there's a jump, sometimes there's not a jump, but that's how we graph it. Okay, the absolute value graphs are kind of like piecewise because they kind of jump to somewhere else. They kind of have two lines that are put together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let my graphing calculator, since we make you buy it, and remember the absolute value is second, and then you go over to the number menu, and ABS should be right there. So when I go to my table, I'm going to want, well, x minus 3 is what's inside the absolute value, so I'm going to want x equals 3 to be in the middle. Well, when I plot the points that are on the table, there's a point at 3, 0, there's a point at 4, 2, there's a point at 5, 4, there's a point at 2, 2, there's a point at 4, 2, and so there's my V. And so there's one piecewise graph we did, one absolute value graph, and the absolute value should always look like a V or an upside down V.